Hello all, hope you're doing well today. We are continuing our conversation in chapter 1. This is part 2 and we're talking more on exercise and health promotion. Here we go. Sedentary death syndrome, or SEDS, is a term coined by Frank Booth from the University of Missouri. So what exactly is SEDS? It's more than just a catchy term. It highlights the profound impact of physical inactivity on our health. Imagine this. Sitting for prolonged periods can lead to what researchers call metabolic deterioration and weight gain in the short term. Yes, simply sitting too much can start to affect how our bodies function, but it doesn't stop there. In the intermediate term, the risks escalate. Think about increased chances of developing diseases like type 2 diabetes. These are not just statistics, they're real health threats that can affect anyone who spends too much time inactive. Now, looking further ahead, the long-term costs become even more stark. We're talking about a higher likelihood of premature mortality. That's a heavy price to pay for a lifestyle that doesn't include enough movement. Understanding these costs can motivate us to make positive changes in our daily lives. Whether it's taking short breaks to move around during work or finding activities we enjoy, every little bit of physical activity adds up to better health and longevity. Regular physical activity has numerous health benefits, including weight management, improved insulin sensitivity, reduced inflammation, and enhanced cardiovascular health. Exercise stimulates the release of cytokines, proteins that help regulate gene expression and prevent chronic diseases, and much more, as you can see here in our graph. Here's a breakdown of the physiological effects of physical activity and inactivity on gene expression and metabolic health. Lack of physical activity can lead to genes misexpressing proteins, which can contribute to metabolic dysfunctions. For example, sedentary behavior is linked to changes in gene expression that might promote conditions like insulin resistance or inflammation. Physical exercise has been shown to cause beneficial changes in gene expression. This includes the upregulation of genes involved in antioxidant defense, mitochondrial biogenesis, and insulin sensitivity. These changes can contribute to improved metabolic health and overall well-being. The mechanisms behind these effects are complex and not yet fully understood, but research suggests that regular physical activity can positively influence gene expression patterns that support metabolic health, while physical inactivity may contribute to unfavorable gene expression associated with metabolic dysfunction. Exercise influences gene expression and health outcomes through various mechanisms. But before we go into that, what are cytokines? Cytokines are small proteins that are vital for cell signaling. They help cells communicate with each other, especially in the immune system. These proteins play a significant role in regulating immune and inflammatory responses. They influence the behavior of cells, directing them to respond appropriately to various threats, such as infections or injuries. There are several types of cytokines, each with specific roles. The interleukins are involved in various immune responses, including the activation and differentiation of immune cells. Interferons help defend against viral infections and modulate the immune response. And then tumor necrosis factors, or TNFs, are involved in systemic inflammation and can induce apoptotic cell death. And then we have chemokines. These attract cells to sites of infection or injury. So cytokines are critical for our body's defense mechanisms, but they're involved in various diseases as well. For example, an overproduction of cytokines can lead to chronic inflammatory conditions and autoimmune diseases. Conversely, certain infections and cancers can manipulate cytokine production to invade the system. So, exercise stimulates muscle cells to release small proteins called myokines. These myokines act as cytokines and play a role in influencing gene expression throughout the body. Cytokines from muscle cells and adipokines from fat cells contribute to systemic effects, including metabolic regulation and immune response modulation. There are muscle cells that also produce heat shock proteins, or HSPs, in response to exercise. These proteins help protect cells from stress and may have anti-inflammatory effects, potentially reducing the risk of chronic diseases. Regular exercise increases the number of glucose receptors in muscle cells, which helps improve with insulin sensitivity. This helps regulate blood glucose levels more effectively, which is crucial in preventing type 2 diabetes. Overall, exercise-induced changes in cytokines, myokines, and HSPs and other factors contribute to improved metabolic health and reduced risk of chronic diseases like diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and metabolic syndrome. These mechanisms underscore the importance of regular physical activity for maintaining overall health and well-being. Local and systemic inflammation is a recognized risk factor for several chronic diseases, including cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and certain cancers. Exercise triggers the release of anti-inflammatory cytokines such as interleukin-6 or IL-6, which helps counteract inflammation. This anti-inflammatory response contributes to reducing the risk of chronic diseases associated with inflammation. Higher intensity exercise often produces more pronounced improvements in the inflammatory profile compared to moderate or low intensity exercise. This is partly because high intensity exercise stimulates greater production of anti-inflammatory cytokines and other beneficial molecules. Combining aerobic and resistance exercise such as weight training appears to provide synergistic benefits in improving inflammatory markers and overall health. Aerobic exercise enhances cardiovascular fitness and metabolic health, while resistance exercise promotes muscle strength and metabolic efficiency. In summary, exercise plays a crucial role in mitigating inflammation and reducing the risk of chronic diseases. With higher intensity exercise and a combination of aerobic and resistance training showing the most significant benefits for inflammatory profiles and overall health outcomes. There are several important health benefits associated with losing excess body fat and engaging in specific types of exercise. Excess body fat is associated with increased production of pro-inflammatory cytokines, which can contribute to chronic inflammation and related health issues. Losing excess body fat helps reduce the production of these cytokines, thereby improving overall health. Fat cells produce estrogen, and excess body fat can lead to higher estrogen levels, which may increase the risk of breast cancer. Losing excess body fat can help lower estrogen levels and potentially reduce this risk. Abdominal obesity is particularly associated with higher blood pressure and unfavorable serum lipid levels of cholesterol and triglycerides. Reduction of abdominal fat through weight loss can help decrease these risk factors and improve cardiovascular health. High impact exercises which subject bones to mechanical stress can stimulate bone density increases. This is particularly important for maintaining bone health and preventing osteoporosis, especially as we age. Exercise, especially aerobic exercise, promotes the production of BDNF, a protein that supports the growth and maintenance of neurons. BDNF is involved in neurogenesis, the formation of new neurons, and can enhance brain function, contributing to improved cognitive abilities and mental health. These points underscore the interconnected benefits of maintaining a healthy body weight through diet and exercise, which not only improve physical health but also support mental and cognitive well-being. There exists a curvilinear relationship between physical activity levels and health benefits. Moderate levels of physical activity are associated with the most substantial health benefits, including cardiovascular health, better metabolic function, and enhanced well-being. A sedentary lifestyle characterized by minimal physical activity does not confer any health benefits and is associated with various health risks, including obesity, cardiovascular diseases, and metabolic disorders. Moderate to high levels of physical activity yield numerous health benefits, such as reduced risk of chronic diseases, such as heart disease and diabetes, improved mood and cognitive function, and enhanced overall quality of life. While exercise is generally beneficial, excessive amounts of exercise can potentially lead to adverse effects, such as overuse injuries, fatigue, immune suppression in extreme cases, and negative psychological impacts, such as exercise addiction. Balancing physical activity to achieve moderate levels is key to maximizing health benefits while minimizing potential risks associated with excessive exercise. Individualization is crucial when designing exercise programs for optimal health outcomes. Exercise programs should be tailored to individual fitness levels, health conditions, and goals. This approach ensures safety, effectiveness, and adherence to the program. Genetic factors can influence how individuals respond to physical activity. While exercise benefits most people, genetic variations can affect factors such as aerobic capacity, muscle strength, and metabolic responses to exercise. Reducing sedentary behavior is crucial for overall health. This includes minimizing prolonged periods of sitting and increasing leisure time physical activity, which can contribute to improved cardiovascular health, weight management, and mental well-being. By focusing on individual needs and capabilities, promoting regular physical activity, and reducing sedentary behaviors, individuals can enhance their overall health and quality of life effectively. A well-rounded physical activity plan that promotes health and wellness typically includes these key components. Aerobic exercise, also known as cardio or endurance activities, involve continuous movement of large muscle groups. Examples include brisk walking, jogging, swimming, cycling, and dancing. Aerobic exercise improves cardiovascular fitness, enhances lung function, boosts mood, and helps in weight management. Muscle strength exercises such as weightlifting, resistance band exercises, and body weight exercises like push-ups and squats are essential for building and maintaining muscle mass, strength, and endurance. These exercises also support bone health and improve metabolism. Flexibility exercises such as stretching or yoga help maintain and improve the range of motion of muscles and joints, which can reduce the risk of injuries and improve posture. Balance exercises such as Tai Chi or specific balance drills help enhance stability and coordination, which is particularly important for older adults to prevent falls. Incorporating all these components into a physical activity plan not only enhances physical fitness, but also contributes to overall health, wellness, and quality of life. Guidelines for physical activity recommended by health authorities such as the World Health Organization or WHO and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, adults should aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic exercise per week. This can be achieved with activities like brisk walking, cycling, or swimming. Alternatively, adults can engage in 75 minutes of vigorous intensity aerobic exercise per week, such as jogging or running. It's also beneficial to incorporate muscle strengthening exercises involving major muscle groups on 2 or more days per week. Children and adolescents should aim for at least 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity daily. This can include activities like playing sports, dancing, or active recreation. These guidelines promote physical fitness, cardiovascular health, muscle strength, flexibility, and overall well-being across different age groups. Understanding how to measure exercise intensity is crucial for optimizing training and ensuring safety. One of the most common methods is measuring heart rate. You can use heart rate monitors or manually check your pulse. The target heart rate zone is typically 50 to 85% of your maximum heart rate. which can be estimated using a formula of 220 minus your age. There are other formulas that you can use as well. It kind of depends upon what group you're working with, and that can be manipulated. Perceived exertion is the Borg rating of perceived exertion is one scale that we use. There is a modified as well. And it's just a subjective way where individuals rate their level of exertion on a scale of 6 to 20. A higher number indicates a higher intensity. And the metabolic equivalents. METs are a way to express the energy cost of physical activities. 1 MET is the energy expended at rest. Moderate intensity activities are typically 3 to 6 METs, while vigorous activities are above 6 METs. And the talk test. It's a simple method that involves speaking during exercise. If your client can talk comfortably, then they're likely at a moderate intensity. If speaking is difficult, the intensity is likely vigorous. And then there's the lactate threshold. This method involves measuring the point at which lactate starts to accumulate in the blood, and it requires specialized equipment, and it's often used by elite athletes to fine-tune their training. But by using these methods, we can help in tailoring your client's workout to meet their fitness goals and ensure they are working within safe limits. Here are some guidelines for muscle strengthening activities across age groups. Adults should engage in muscle strengthening activities on 2 or more days per week. These activities should include all major muscle groups, including legs, hips, back, abdomen, chest, shoulders, and arms. It's recommended to perform about 8 to 10 different exercises that stress these muscle groups. You want to aim for 8 to 12 repetitions of each exercise depending upon what the goals are, and at least twice a week on non-consecutive days. Children and adolescents should also engage in muscle strengthening activities on at least 3 days per week. Older adults may adjust their strength training by using lighter weights or less resistance while increasing the number of repetitions. This approach helps maintain muscle strength and function, which is crucial for maintaining independence and preventing falls. Older adults should engage in flexibility activities at least 2 days a week for at least 10 minutes each session. These activities are designed to maintain or improve the range of joint motion needed for daily activities and physical fitness. Balance exercises are crucial for reducing the risk of falls and associated injuries, which can be more common as people age. Older adults should also perform exercises that help maintain or improve balance about 3 times a week. These recommendations are essential for maintaining physical function, mobility, and independence in older adults. Incorporating regular flexibility and balance exercises into a weekly routine can significantly enhance overall quality of life and reduce the likelihood of accidents or injuries related to falls. There are significant health benefits associated with increasing weekly exercise time. Researchers have found that increasing the amount of weekly exercise is linked to greater health benefits across various metrics, including life expectancy and overall well-being. Adults can aim for 300 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity per week, such as brisk walking, or 150 minutes of vigorous intensity aerobic activity like jogging or running. Engaging in moderate physical activity for 75 minutes per week, such as brisk walking, has been associated with an additional 1.8 years of life expectancy. Those who accumulate at least 450 minutes or 7.5 hours of physical activity per week may add as much as 4.5 years to their life expectancy. It's clear that many Americans are not meeting the recommended physical activity guidelines as highlighted by various studies and surveys. Only 1 in 5 adults in the United States meets the recommended outline in the 2018 physical activity guidelines. This indicates a significant gap between recommended levels of physical activity and actual participation. Individuals living in the southern region of the United States are reported to be less likely to engage in sufficient physical activity compared to those in other regions. Factors such as climate, urban design, and cultural norms may contribute to this disparity. There are notable differences in adherence to physical activity guidelines among different racial and ethnic groups as well. Non-Hispanic white adults tend to be more likely to meet the physical activity recommendations compared to non-Hispanic Black adults and Hispanic adults. These disparities may stem from various social, cultural factors, access to resources, and health disparities with these populations. Efforts to promote physical activity and reduce barriers across all demographic groups are crucial for improving public health outcomes and reducing the burden of chronic diseases associated with physical inactivity. Keeping a daily record of your physical activity and comparing it to the recommended guidelines is an effective way to assess if your client is exercising enough. Here's how you can approach it. Keep a journal. Have them keep a journal or use a fitness tracking app to record the type, duration, and intensity of daily activities. Note activities like brisk walking, jogging, cycling, strength training, and any flexibility or balance exercises they perform. At the end of each week, tally up the total minutes of physical activity and compare that total to the recommended guidelines. Adults should aim again for at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity per week or 75 minutes of vigorous activity, plus muscle strengthening on 2 or more days per week. And again, with children, they should aim for at least 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity, including muscle strengthening activities on 3 days per week. You want to consider using the fitness trackers or smartwatches that monitor their daily levels of physical activity automatically. They provide great insight into activity levels such as step taken, the distance covered, calories burned, and heart rate during exercise. By maintaining a consistent record and using technology to monitor physical activity levels, they can track their progress toward meeting the recommended guidelines and adjust their routine as needed to achieve optimal health benefits. While exercise is generally beneficial for health, excessive or improper exercise can indeed pose risks and lead to various health problems. Here are some potential issues associated with overdoing exercise. Excessive exercise can lead to overuse injuries such as stress fractures, tendonitis, and joint damage due to repetitive strain on muscles and joints. You also can see impaired immune function for those who are working out an intense and prolonged exercise without adequate recovery. And so it's usually a temporary suppression of the immune system, which increases susceptibility to infection. Intense physical activity can also trigger asthma symptoms in susceptible individuals, leading to exercise-induced bronchoconstriction or asthma attacks. Some individuals may develop an unhealthy obsession with exercise, leading to compulsive behavior that interferes with daily life and causes physical and psychological distress. Inadequate nutrition combined with excessive exercise, particularly endurance training, without sufficient strength training may increase the risk of osteoporosis or bone density loss. Overexertion in hot and humid conditions can lead to heat-related illnesses such as heat stroke or dehydration and potential kidney failure. Extreme endurance events or repeated head trauma in contact sports can lead to traumatic brain injuries and long-term neurological damage. Although rare, extreme exertion can trigger heart attacks, particularly in individuals with underlying heart conditions or risk factors. And high-risk activities or sports can lead to accidents, falls, or collisions that may cause injuries ranging from minor to severe. And I just want to thank you for your attention today. We will continue our conversation in Chapter 1 and Part 3. I look forward to talking with you again. Have a great day.